Hi there and welcome to Techopia. We are at SaaS North, and if you don't know this just yet, it is definitely the event for, I would say, not just for SaaS, but also for really just showcasing startup to scale up business in our city and also across Canada. It's a pretty spectacular event, and I'm here with the managing executive director of Spark, Mr. Leo Lax. Thank you so much, Leo, for making some time for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Now, Leo, this is really kind of like the idea, the brainchild of Spark, and it's become something enormous in a very
It's an
short.
institution. It's going to be an institution.
I love it. Maybe you can share with me a little bit, kind of like how this process has been, and what has been your goal with SaaS North, and where you are at now.
Okay, well, thanks. Thanks for having me here. You know, SaaS North started a year ago because we thought we had an enormous, exciting, and growing community of small, medium, and large companies in the SaaS business. Yet they had to have some way of exchanging information and learn from each other so that the little guy can become the big guys and the big guys can innovate as quickly as the little guys. And we thought a forum to allow that would be something called SaaS North. And we took a flyer on that. Believe it or not, when we originally thought of this idea, we were kind of thinking maybe yes, maybe no. And I got to tell you that what was really exciting to me is I approached about 10 or 12 CEOs of SaaS companies around, mostly around Ontario and some of them out west, and said, hey guys, do you think this makes any sense? Do you think that it would be something that the community as a whole would be interested? We were sitting around having some dinner together in one of the restaurants here in downtown Ottawa, and much to my surprise, they said, I love it. I think that's a great idea. Okay. And so I said, you know, I am all about action. So if you guys say yes, and I say yes, you know, we are committed. This is it. We are going to go. And they said, well, you know, and I said, there's only two choices. In my world, in this case, we say yes and we go, or we say no and move to do other things. So which was going to be? And believe it or not, we had a couple of them who said, I am all in. And so about 2 weeks later, we talked to the people at the Shaw Center. We locked in some time, which happened to be the November timeline. And I went back to the group and I said, you know what? We are now fully in. And if I have to pay for it, you guys are in as well. And guess what? It turned out to be an excitingly great event. And this year, actually, it has been even more exciting for me. We've grown the number of attendees by 30%, in spite of everybody telling to us this is almost impossible to do in our community. We have increased the exhibition floor almost 100%, which is quite amazing to think that companies believe that coming here and showcasing their products and capabilities is something that is valuable for them enough to actually spend the time and money in doing it. And I think that's amazing. And then at the same time, we said, you know, first time around, we probably mined all the good speakers in the market. There may not be any left over, and what are we going to do next? And actually, I'm really pleased to say, if you go and look at the speakers and the feedback I've received from the people who are currently milling around, we're receiving some really great accolades. These guys are, again, hitting way above what we were expected. And I think this is all about making sure that we are actually building a capability to have our companies grow to be sustainable global corporations.
Yeah, you're right. I can feel the energy. Exactly. I would say yes. I would say I'm all in as well if I heard that first pitch. Yeah, it's such a wonderful story, but it's also such a wonderful depiction of what is happening within our city, within our industry. And when I say industry, I just take in as a whole,
For sure.
and as a country, and to see people, the excitement and the anticipation, and also the motivation that people have to give, mentor, grow, and want to do more and scale. And I think that
and we
is.
are getting to the point where we see results. We see more and more companies at the next stage of their growth. As I was saying in my opening remarks, we've had IPOs this year, and 6 or 7 of the SaaS companies are already post-IPO, all Canadian companies. 15 years ago, people were telling me we live in a nuclear winter. There are no IPOs of any sort in tech. And here we are now with companies actually successfully executing and growing both on the public markets and the private markets, again, which shows that this business, this industry is actually going somewhere.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we just had a couple of conversations here today with a few of the companies that is even part of the Alspar cohort as well, and it's fascinating that it's such a wide spectrum, everything from energy to cybersecurity, and way beyond that. And so maybe we can talk a little bit just about the current group of companies that you're supporting. Maybe about what your approach with them was, and how that's maybe changed from the way you've evolved as well over the last few years.
Okay, so thank you. That's great. This cohort has been another showcase cohort for us, and it's again a much more engaging showcase because we ourselves have learned lessons and are getting a better assessment on what's required. The companies are a little bit more mature, which means that our methodology, which is an intense one-on-one engagement with these cohorts on a weekly basis, so quite intensely, is yielding much more results because the companies have more resources to actually advance and choose. It was actually, I think, Tuesday night, I was coming to the SaaS North reception that we had pre the conference, and as I was passing through the office, one of the cohorts, the CEO's name is Ryan, said to me, "Guess what? I just signed my first major customer." And I said, "Really?" And he's been working on it in the past, and our mentor, who's working with him, has kind of coached him on how to go about it. And he showed me, he says, look at this thing. Here is my signed one, my first $400,000 contract. Now, what it means is, to him, imagine that. He's now engaging, not only with just a company or a customer, he's engaging with a referenceable activity. That's amazing. I found that really a differentiation from what we did. And he's only been with us since October. Some of the companies that are here, all of our companies are here showcasing. They are meeting investors, meeting customers, and they are engaging. And we see that because the members of the cohort, the companies, are more mature. They have more resources to actually execute. So when we inject, so to speak, our DNA, our mentor capabilities, they can actually bear fruit. They can actually move the yardstick forward. So that's really exciting. And we had to adjust our adoption of how to do this by continuing to evolve.
No, I love that. And I mean, clearly that's an indication of success and of some sort of, hey, we are on the right track.
I would say that.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
on the right track. Yes.
Exactly. Success.
I want to measure success
Exactly.
sometime in next June or July.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about potential success.
And that brings me to that question, because it shows that you're on the right path. And you say, what would success mean to you?
So success to me would be that by, let's say, 2020, we will have 3 or 4 Shopifys going public on an IPO, through an IPO, becoming the next billion-dollar company from our cohort. We have had 29 companies to date, 7 more this cohort, so in total 36 so far. We'll have a few more in the next little while, as each year we get more. Out of those, if we can get 2 or 3 global, huge companies, we have achieved it. Because imagine how much more exciting would be for all of us in Canada when we've actually been able to say to the world, we are not just A or B or C, we are actually a powerhouse of SaaS-based capabilities, because we have, on a regular basis, bringing to the market global corporations with global achievable product.
No, what is wonderful today, even some of the conversations we've had, that there is individuals here that that are from outside of Canada that came here specifically to come and see what we have to offer. And the question to them was, why? Why are you here? What are we doing? What are we doing right? And it seems more and more that this unified approach that I think we as a city definitely has taken Ottawa, and I know as a country as well, we're more in that direction, that the world is taking note. Canada's always been there from a tech perspective, but it means that somehow I think our efforts are going in the right direction together, and it seems like we are making that more impact than we have before. And SaaS North is clearly a key aspect and a key indication of that as well. Maybe I can ask you, out of this whole conference, what do you think people can take away? What would you like when someone comes here? What can they take away? What would be the key thing you feel like, okay, this means we've had success or we are on the right track?
You know, there are really, I would say, two things. I am most rewarded when I see a company approaching me and saying, these 2 days have given me the confidence and the knowledge to go back in my company and know what I need to do to get to be that same, like that other company who's now at $100 million in revenue, or $50 million, or $5,000 million in revenue, because I now see, and I've been told by somebody who's done it, that this is how to. That would be amazing to me and very gratifying to me. That's one element. The other element is more on the, I'll call it the social side. The other element would be for companies to come and tell me, I am seeing here that we have an ability. I'm not alone. I'm not an island in the middle of something, and I have a support community, investors, partners, large companies that know what they are doing and helping me grow, small companies that are innovating and therefore can feed our large companies with capabilities, and together we can create what we believe is an engine that builds benefits for all of us.
Wow. Okay, well, you've clearly thought this through, Mr. Lax.
I'm just working on it. We are still a startup.
True. But you've done, and that's what I think that's what's so invigorating about all of this, is that everybody knows here this is not, as you already said, it's going to be an institution, but it's not an institution that's been around for 20 years and doesn't know how it is as edgy and as connected and engaged with the industry as you could possibly be. And I think that's why people want to be associated with it, because they feel that they're having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
There has been some success. I mean, for goodness sake, we got a media board. If this doesn't scream success, I don't know what does. But we look forward to a great conference, and we look forward and seeing more what the companies are doing at LSpark, and most importantly, what LSpark is adding to the ecosystem. It's such a key aspect of it. So thank you so much for your time.
It is my pleasure, and I hope to see everybody at SaaS North 3.0.
We'll see you there.
Okay.